Hey, what's going on everybody? It's Tripoli here, back from the Lord's Mobile video. And in today's video, guys, we have this guy, GTS Pi ABC. His ante has fallen, and he's sitting here, 591 million might, chilling in majority just kind of range gear, right? Range-oriented gear. So we've got these guilds that have come over, JB9 and L-9F. Now these are two family guilds. One is much bigger than the other, and they've decided to try to come at him, whittle him down, and zero him. This guy's got a good amount of troops. He's in the upwards of around probably 23 million troops or so, so this will be a challenging zero. So yeah, as you can see, 591 million might, range-oriented gear with a tracker leader. So this account isn't anything too special, and it's not in the best position to defend, especially if it's not going to be getting reinforcements from its guild, right? So we kind of look around at some of these leads that are coming in from JB9, and we kind of look at, eCash9F. We're kind of like seeing what exactly is going to transpire here. But as you can see, JB902 Tiana is coming in with a rally. It's walking, it's walking, it's walking. It's going kind of fast, so I would at this point kind of expect like a range rally. I think that's a bit fast, right? But we kind of look, it's imprisoned, and, it only dropped about 8 million might, right? So they ended up sending, I believe, infantry on this first rally, and it was infantry, a very nice infantry set, and they only dropped her about 8 million might. So at this point, we can only assume that probably may have gotten a full counter on Mr. Pi ABC here, right? So we've got this guy coming in, and he's coming in with a full range set, right? This Ingential, I don't really know how to pronounce that, but he's coming in. He's got his full range set on. He's not the best of the leads, but he comes in and he does like, I think, 4 million might worth of damage. So now we can kind of assume that he's probably got, I think, a range infantry front. And that's what I would say, at least. He's down to 578. We got Mr. Naruto coming in with another infantry rally. So maybe this guy's got an infantry front line. That's kind of what I'm thinking at this point. Maybe like, what I was kind of thinking was more of like an inf wedge. And we got Naruto coming in with this rally. It's walking, it hits, and now he's down to 570. So another 8 million might drop. Okay, and it was with his leader. So it's not that big of a drop, but they're definitely making progress on his T2 front line. That's for sure. So now we get to see, they're like, okay, so we've got 2 leaders capped now. What do we do, right? 2 of the JB9 rally leads have been capped, so they're like, what do we do now? And they coordinate with L-9F, and they coordinate, like JB9 and L-9F, they coordinate, they start filling the prison. So we kind of move on because we know nothing's really going to come out of there, and we start looking at our own kingdom. We've got OMC Rampage Ross, and he's filling up a rally. It looks like he's just gone in and rallied this VRF Guess XX guy, right? So he's got some troops feeding into him. We can only wonder what's going on. Doesn't seem to be a full rally, but it definitely could be a full rally at this point. We don't really know because we're kind of coming in right at the end, right before the rally is about to launch. Troops are speeding in. It's like, oh man, is he going after Dark Nest? I mean, these troops are kind of speeding in from far away. We've got some people kind of nearby. What is he going after? And the anticipation was just so much for me. I get the same feeling every time because there's a lot of times like I'm streaming and we see the guy going for like a darkness or something, and it's like, oh come on, man. But the troops are really speeding in, so we don't know exactly what they're going for. As you can see, we've got the last of the troops heading in. We've got Not a Bully coming in. We've got Grand coming in, and they're going in pretty fast. Not as fast as the last guy that came in, but pretty damn fast. Not a Bully being the last of the troops to walk into the castle. And let's see where this rally is going to head, guys. We've only got a few seconds, I believe, before this rally starts to walk. And it's getting to that point where it's about to leave the castle, and bam, it leaves. So we see Mr. Rampage Ross rally go, and it's getting carpeted. And it's getting carpeted towards this RRF Bunyers guy. We look at his gear, and it can only be assumed that he's kind of sort of like mid free-to-play, like solo trap or something like that. Or like mid pay-to-play, not even mid pay-to-play, I would say like mid basically free to play solo trap. This guy doesn't look anything too special. He's got a bunch of like free to play gear, a bunch of stuff that can be made out of like materials that don't involve like monster chests and stuff. And the rally comes in and it only knocks him down like 14 mil. So it's like, okay, so does he have any more troops? Osmos comes in. He's like, he sees what's going on. Osmos is the kind of guy who comes in and tries to steal leaders all the time. So he comes in with a march, and we'll get to see if he's got any troops left at this point. And his troops are walking, hits, 87 million might, doesn't change at all, and we know for a fact that this guy doesn't have any more troops. So then we kind of just head back to Pi ABC. At this point, you know, they're filling up the prison, they're getting their leaders inside him. He's down to 561 million might, so a lot of his front line is dropped by now. A lot of that T2, it's kind of getting dropped, and they're getting closer to that T4. But as you can see, they're making progress as to putting leaders inside of his prison, and they just keep coming and coming and coming. And I've tried this before. I love this tactic. As long as the target's offline, this works very well. Like, we tried this with a 92 kill guy, and he ended up coming online and then keeping all the SIP leaders and stuff. If you guys remember 92 kill, it was like the 25 million troop guy. It was like 700 million might that SIP zeroed, and that was a hell of a time. But yeah, he literally kept our leaders when he came online, and it was kind of like, okay. But nonetheless, guys, JB9 is coming in with another rally from DM Ginger. We kind of look at the gear that they're sending, and we can see that Mythic Cup. Infantry. We've got a couple Terror Vials. It is definitely an infantry rally coming up in here. And I believe right now the prison is full. So 561 million might. Let's see what the drop is. Look at that. The prison is full. DM Ginger gets the leader back, and it is about, I believe, a was that a 27 million might drop. Wow, nice might drops now. We can definitely say that they're getting into the T4 by now. I think that was finishing up the last of the T2 front line, and now they're getting into the T4. And this guy doesn't have very long to live, because at that point, when you start getting those bigger drops and you aren't online, like right there, if he was online, he would have definitely have tried to heal and then take it and then like cap, or like, you know, release a lead, cap a lead. No, he didn't do that. So we know he's definitely not online. We've got Mr. OP Eisner coming in with a rally on Pi ABC. And, you know, he's not the best of the leads, but he's got some decent gear. I'm not gonna bash him, but he's coming in. He's got a full rally, I believe, and let's see what kind of damage he does. It's walking, hits, he gets his leader back, and it drops about 16 million might. So, not too bad. I'm not going to bash him. You know, El Cashine F was really out here trying their best. They didn't have any good, like, really, really good leads, like JB9, which I'm surprised at this, because I would have figured that JB9 would have lent them a lead. Anyways, JB9 is coming in here. He's down to 517 million might. DM Ginger's coming in with another infantry rally, and it smokes again, but drops down to 474, which by the last rally, that's about like a 42 million might drop, guys. 42 million might drop. We know for a fact they are shredding that T4. They really are getting past that front line of troops, and they're about to be hitting some another type of troops here in a second, right? And back on the El Cashine F thing, these guys, I don't know if we looked at their guild at the beginning of the video, but these guys, they were like a 23 billion guild, right? And their max leads were like 500 million might. They didn't have like a mythic gear really or anything. They were just kind of like normal, like 400, 500% leads. So this really kind of puzzled me why JB9 didn't lend one of their leads over. I think that would be much smarter, especially because they were a family guild to JB9, as I saw on their board. El Cashine F is coming in Gentle, or however you pronounce that, coming in with a rally, full infantry hits, and it's a 400, and it gets dropped down to 455 million might, which is about a 20 million might drop. But guess what, guys? JB9 is coming in again with full infantry. By now, I think they're about to get into the range, if not already getting into the range with that last rally. I'm pretty sure it was an infantry wedge, and here comes the rally, guys. Hits, burns. Ooh, how big of a burn was it? Holy shit. That was a huge drop. Somewhere around 80 million drop right there. Really, really nice. Finally gets the burn and doesn't have that many. At this point, we can only assume that majority of his second. Okay, so his front line is definitely just gone, right? But then his second line also has to be just about gone by this point, and he's probably about down to 2 troop types, nearly just 1, down to 368 million or 369 million from 591. We can only assume that he's nearly got 1 troop type left, and I think at this point it's got to be just a little bit of range in Cav, unless Cav was his front line in the first place. But guys, now he's just gotten hit by El Kashine F, and they hit him pretty good this time. So weaker leads coming in with infantry, so obviously there's got to be a decent amount of range left, right? And we can only assume that they were probably hitting Cav from the front. So maybe he wasn't an infantry wedge, maybe he was like in Cav wedge or something, and they were hitting with infantry. Because they keep hitting with infantry over and over and over. And we've got this guy from El Kashine F coming in with a solo, thinking he can probably solo this guy, but sadly only drops him about at 1 million might. So I'm not really sure what he was sitting in the front, but I'm pretty sure it could have been Cav wedge, because those infantry rallies from the beginning weren't doing all too much, and he isn't really in mixed geared. It was like, I guess they maybe just decided to keep going infantry, and by the time they burned him, maybe he didn't have anti on, and they just decided, fuck it, let's do it, right? So Pi ABC is now burning from a solo. We've got JB9 coming in, DM Ginger, 312 million might on Pi ABC. Rally's coming in, it's walking, and this one is full infantry. Now this is what makes me think they're still going infantry, which means he's probably got range in there, right? So they go in, they hit, and from 312 they knock him down to 265, which is pretty insane. He is now zeroed, no doubt about it. 265 million might. It is game over. Anyways, guys, if you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like, subscribe, comment, give me some constructive criticism on the video and what you'd like to see in future videos. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out.